That's the, okay. That's the be brave hug. I will, I promise. I'll be brave. I love you. I love you too. I love you too. He's not the only one, all right. I love you too, big guy. All right, I got supporters. All right, come on, you just get back on your couch, all right? So, the truth, I wasn't supposed to tell you. The truth that no one is supposed to know. Go get some coffee, grab something to eat, and buckle up. Because it's a good story. So, 7 years ago, I fell off a waterfall. Dukes Creek Falls, to be exact, the tallest waterfall in Georgia. I fell to the bottom of it. It's like 70, 75, 80 feet. And it fucked me up pretty good. Bones sticking out of my body. My ribs were broke. I had my shin sticking out, bones sticking out of my toes. And I fell into a snake pit. And I had been bitten several times on the leg, in the ankle, in the pit that I fell in. So when I woke up, the adrenaline was pumping. The adrenaline was, I was alive, but it hurt. Nothing had hurt more. And I climbed back up the waterfalls in this adrenaline spurge. It was about the same time of year, so the water was extremely icy. I mean, it's icy all year long, but that helped, I believe. I climbed falls and I got to the top, and no one was there. It took hours before I caught back up with the people I was with. And then, and I was taking this experimental drug, an experimental electron developed for the U.S. Army. It's called Carbon 60. Previous to this, I had been taking it for several years as an accelerant to gosh, I mean, there's 1,000 reasons to take it. If you look up C60, you'll see what I'm talking about. So I had died, and it was only for a second, and nothing miraculous happened in that moment. I didn't see a great white light. It was just black. Everything was black. And my girlfriend at the time, who was with me, was a nurse, and didn't go to the hospital. What's the point? What were you doing on the top of that waterfall? I got bit by some snakes, and I shouldn't have been up there. It was illegal to begin with. I was being stupid. So 3 days later, my wounds were completely healed. I mean, completely. And that's partially how the story began. I don't know if you ever saw one of the previous videos, not maybe 4 or 5 months before that happened. felt the sensation of a spirit being dropped down into my body. You know, that was like the soul infusion. Anyway, that happened. It was pretty real. That was the beginning of I mean, my whole life I've had really crazy, almost supernatural experiences, but never enough to anything that couldn't be logically rationalized off. Until I fell off the waterfall. And then there was no logic or rationalization in that. So, speeding forward, I started to almost have like trances. And to make a secondary long story short, I started to develop astral projection. And because of this, I didn't know what was going on. No clue. The few times I've sat down and tried to harness it, I've completely gone off the planet. And there are other worlds than these. They're all humanoid species, you know, bipedals, upright. The few humanoids, the one planet I've seen 2 planets. One, I imagine, is Draconis, because there are alligator people. I also have this ability to be able to astral project other people. And the next time I get the wife back on camera, here in a few hours probably, I'll get her to tell you about it, because the first time I astral projected with her, we accidentally ended up in someone's bathroom. It was very embarrassing. And it was an alligator woman. And, you know, respectfully, it was just like seeing a human being, some old lady, but terrified. And she had to grab her towel. She was in a shower, but she had alligator skin. Look, someone mentioned something about narcissism earlier, and I get it. You totally nailed it, Rachel. You nailed it. The narcissism thing is so annoying, you know, but that helped me crack a code that I think, you know, therapists don't want, and doctors don't want people to know, that narcissism is a totality. Every narcissist is a victim. And every victim is a narcissist. It's an enclosed group. They get you into therapy, and they get you into to classes, or, you know, whatever for whatever reason you need to mandate some type of mental health. You're right. They're the ones that are mentally unhealthy. They can't figure it out, so they want to figure it out with you. So anyway. There was about 2 or 3 years of thinking that I was some kind of magician, a genie, you know. I didn't even know the extent. It was just like the Wild West with these abilities I had. And at the end of the day, it's almost like creating reality, but instantaneously. You know, it can only be triggered by fear. Unfortunately, I don't know how to turn water into wine. But I guarantee you, if somebody showed up to shoot me in the head, the gun would blow up in their hand. So, there's no way to explain it other than God. Not us, but the big guy. The big galm. So anyway. It was 4 years ago into the story of 7 years on Easter. And
we had just moved to Raven County, Georgia. And I didn't have my little girl. It was the first Easter. I didn't have our little girl. There was going to be no egg hunt, so we're just hanging out at this brand new place we just moved into. And I am a smoker. I've been smoking for 20 years. About to go find a lighter and light a cigarette now. I started having this weird sensation. I was coughing up blood. And it was very strange. I started coughing up blood. And it caused me to astral project. But instead of astral projecting out of the planet, I went inside. And it was like going through time. It's the only way I can explain it. And I went through time to the point to where I saw Jesus on the cross. And it was a pretty gruesome scene. It wasn't anything that has been reproduced by Hollywood. Thank God I just saw 1123 on the camera, because the truth of it is it was sick. Sick. Anyway, now going down that road, 17 seconds, moving in a different direction. I went there in this projection, and I saw it. I saw Jesus, and the next thing I know, I'm looking out of Jesus's eyes. And this is what they don't want me to tell you. Now, this event really screwed me up as an individual. It gave me some kind of spiritual PTSD. I don't really know how to explain it, because I believed in what I experienced so much, but we'll get back to that in a second. So I'm looking through Jesus's eyes. You know what I see? A humanoid figure. You know, a man. But he had a canary head. I know this sounds crazy. This man had the head of a canary. And it wasn't a helmet. It wasn't some bullshit to rationalize. He was a canary. Or so it seemed. So, go along with me and try to process that. I'm hung on this cross, and I look forward, and this canary man is talking to me telepathically, but not in words. It was more like a sound. So there's this weird sound, and he levitates. There was no one else there. The canary man levitated, and he slid me off the cross and put me over his shoulders. Now, before we go any further, I'm not calling myself Jesus. Dear God, that was your one. I did experience this projection, though. So, I didn't know anything about this world before that, to be honest. Or even tarot or any of the sort. To make a long story short, it was Thoth. Thoth grabbed us off the cross. I know it wasn't me, but it's a memory I can't unremember. And yeah, you're right. All these cults and all these fucking people don't want me to say this, and they almost destroyed my life because I let them. Because I betrayed myself by convincing myself they're right. I was crazy. I must be crazy. I must be fucking crazy. You know? Who has an experience or a memory of being on the cross? What was really weird, because my whole life, people do this thing we call confession. We'd be in a random store, anywhere, a random Walmart, and strangers walk up to us and they just start telling me their problems. Not in like, I've seen you on TV before kind of way, but in the, oh, here's this terrible thing I did. I just thought you would be so interested in it kind of way. Confession. Once again, I'm not calling myself Jesus. So after about a year past that event, I started having extreme flashes of being different gods. It started with Jesus, and then it switched to so many different demigods, gods, that it furthered this idea that I was insane. I believed Monica. I'm gonna use real names. I don't give a fuck. I believed Monica. I believed their whole little fucking Indian cult, that there was something wrong with me. And the truth is, there's something wrong with them. Because they didn't want me to tell my truth. Who gives a shit? They don't even live in this country. None of them do. Why didn't they want me to say my truth? Why is it so important? Did they label me a liar? But who gives a fuck what some guy is saying on the internet? Why don't you think about that? Who gives a shit what I'm saying? Well, the people that don't want you to hear it does. Isn't that something? And you know, I believed them up until the point to where they kept trying to shove that down the hole. And what are they shoving down the hole? Well, it took years unraveling. And it was very interesting because it ended in this town where we're at. Philosophy. Faithist. They wrote a book. They wrote a documentation. Fuck, it's not a book, it's a document. All right, they wrote a document. Now, of course, they're screwed up just as much as everybody else is because they want you to believe a certain way. But if you read between the lines, everything comes together. You see, Thoth is Gabriel, and Gabriel is Thoth. People have gotten killed over sharing that information. And why? Why? Is it the Catholic Church that doesn't want you to know? You know, I've never given in to fear. And thank goodness the background of the life that I have come up in is to the elimination of fear. Fear is, well, that's something you find in a video game. See, I guess they thought I'd be afraid of myself because they wanted me to believe I was the devil. They wanted me to believe I was Satan. And I'll be honest, I didn't know. And thanks to this little Indian cult, I lost all my faith. And if you read I lost all my faith in the whole religious order. From Shivitism to Hare Krishna. You can all go fuck yourselves. Christians included. Every last one of you. I think you're all sick. But the more I identified with being Jesus, the more I realized nobody wants Jesus to be back here. And that might have been the whole point. I didn't go out and find a matchbook that said, let's strike honor Jesus. Jesus came to me, through me. And until you have a memory of what it's like to be hung up on the cross, don't fucking tell me what it isn't like. Respectfully. Because you don't know. And I can look you in your eyes and promise you, you don't know. So, I tried to leave all that behind me. They won't even let me make fucking tarot videos without somebody running their mouth. Why is that? Why don't you want me to be seen or heard so fucking bad? Because I'm a dad with 5 kids and take care of his business his whole life? You tell me what it is. See, it's the story. Because this is what I came out of the fence with. I wrote a book about it. And it offended a lot of people. I thought I was the Son of God. It happens. I'm sure it happened. I mean, they got a whole psychology based on it. It's called psychopathy. I have dwindled my own life force away with myself so that I can agree with everyone. Just long enough to say, you know what? I don't agree with you. I am a son of God. And you're all sons and daughters of God. That's our equality. We're all children of God. That means we're God's. That means we're not. All the same. We're all the same. You're a human being. You're the same. Cool. Get up here. I need more of your love. Come on. Come on. They don't want you to know this dumb experience I had. Guess what? I didn't care about identifying with Jesus. I can't stand Christians. Apparently, Jesus couldn't either. Never knew that. So, for all of you that don't know, and the few of you that we really like, that I don't know how else to talk about it. This is what they didn't want you to know. They didn't want you to know this telepathic experience that could destroy their entire system of lies. Their entire world of lies. The entire religious world is lies. The greatest religious movement that was ever made happened 50 years ago, and the man that made it was poisoned by his own people, Prabhupada. He didn't get any help from them either. Same group of people, I'm sure. There's no backing in the religious order because they're all snakes. You know what happens when you cut the head off a snake? 3 grow back. So you know what I learned to do? Pretend they don't exist. And inevitably, they won't anymore. If you don't like the way we're doing things, no one ever has. Take a number and step in line. God has given me a direct channel to say what I want to. And it started off with telling people to quit eating meat. I've been fighting the masses here because this group of people has gone out of their way to stop us any way they can. Isn't that right, Monica? Well, here's to favors and friends, good times and good fortunes. I appreciate the 2 or 3 of you that really inspired me to be honest, because you know I want everybody. I want my business to be on the table, And if you see something you don't like, you get to read it up front. There's no smoke or mirrors here. I'm gonna go work on that. See you in a couple hours.